Throughout history, the people who thrived during hard times often had one thing in common. They kept hardy livestock. From Norse settlers who depended on goats for milk and warmth, to ancient Mediterranean farmers who built entire economies around sheep, these animals have carried civilizations through shortage, war, and rebuilding. If you study old records, travel logs, or frontier journals, a pattern emerges. Families with small flocks had security. They had protein, milk, wool, manure for fertile fields, and animals that reproduced quickly enough to turn a struggling homestead into a stable one. For the next minute, pay close attention, because what worked for our ancestors still works today. Goat and sheep farming isn't complicated when you understand the fundamentals, and once you master them, you can create a reliable, profitable system capable of sustaining a family and strengthening an entire farm. Feeding goats and sheep properly is where real efficiency and real savings begin. Both animals are ruminants, meaning they thrive on forage rather than grain. Goats prefer browsing shrubs, tree leaves and rough brush, which is why they were historically kept in regions where cattle couldn't survive. Sheep prefer grazing low pasture grasses. When you combine their feeding habits on the same land, you mimic an ancient mixed herd strategy used across Africa, the Middle East and Europe. This complementary grazing pattern reduces overgrazing, supports soil health and cuts feed costs dramatically. To apply this method, divide your land into sections and rotate your animals every 7 to 14 days. This prevents parasite build-up and allows grasses time to regrow. During dry seasons or winter, supplement with hay. A good rule is to store enough hay for 3 to 4 months, just as historical pastoral communities stocked hay in stone barns before winter. Grain should be used sparingly, mainly for pregnant or lactating females and young kids or lambs that need an early boost. Water is the other feeding element people often overlook. Goats and sheep need clean, fresh water daily. Stagnant water breeds disease. A simple way to maintain clean water is to place tubs under partial shade and lift them off the ground using old bricks or stones. This prevents mud, droppings and rainfall splash from contaminating the water. Breeding and herd management determine long-term profitability more than any other factor. Traditional herders were extremely selective, often keeping only the strongest males and selling or culling the rest. This practice preserved healthy genetics and ensured that each generation was more resilient than the last. You can adopt the same principle today. Keep one strong buck or ram for every 20 to 30 females. Replace males every 2 to 3 years to avoid inbreeding. In practical terms, this means observing your animals during mating season. A good male is active, muscular, parasite-resistant, and produces offspring that grow well without heavy supplementation. A weak male costs you money every season through low fertility and poor genetics. Births typically occur after 5 months, and it's wise to prepare a warm, dry stall for the mothers. For newborns, the first hour is critical. The young must consume colostrum immediately for immunity. Turning goat and sheep farming into profit requires understanding markets and using every part of the animal. Historically, shepherds rarely relied on just one product. They produced milk, cheese, meat, fibre, hides and manure, all of which had value. That same strategy works today, whether you're selling locally or simply providing for your own household. If you want to sell milk, goats are the more practical choice. Their milk is easier to digest and acceptable even for people who struggle with cow milk. It can be turned into cheese, soap, yogurt, or stored raw for drinking. Sheep's milk, although produced in smaller quantities, is richer and fetches premium prices in cheese-making markets. Meat production is straightforward. Many farmers raise crossbreeds that grow quickly and require minimal feed. Hair sheep, for instance, shed naturally and don't need shearing. For wool breeds, shearing provides an additional income stream. Raw wool still holds value with hand spinners and small textile artisans. Even manure becomes a resource. Goat and sheep manure rarely burns plants and can be applied directly to gardens, improving soil structure over time. Historical farming communities recognized its value long before chemical fertilizers existed. In the end, goat and sheep farming is a simple, ancient and highly practical system that fits perfectly into modern survival thinking. These animals don't require specialized equipment, they reproduce quickly, and they convert rough land into food and profit with remarkable efficiency. If you want more historical insight, real-world husbandry techniques, and practical training that strengthens your farm or homestead, make sure you subscribe to Husbandry. Share this guide with anyone looking to build a resilient future, and stay tuned for more resources that stand the test of time.